This isn't financial advice, but rather an insight into human behavior and how the brain works every day. If you work hard every day but still struggle to make ends meet, the problem might not be your income. Many people believe the problem lies with money, but most of the time, that's just the easiest thing to blame. In fact, your brain is subtly controlling all your financial decisions, whether you realize it or not. And the most dangerous thing is that the brain doesn't care whether you're rich or poor. It only cares whether you're safe. The brain calls familiarity safety, even though that very thing is keeping you stuck for years. The feeling of comfort doesn't cause immediate pain. It lulls you into a false sense of security. The brain hates discipline because discipline requires short-term pain for long-term rewards. Every time you choose the easy option, your brain remembers that avoidance is the key to survival. The brain doesn't see the future. It only reacts to present pain and pleasure. When you're about to make a change, your brain immediately goes into alert mode because it thinks you're about to be in danger. The brain is screaming to stop because change always means risk. The brain doesn't distinguish between real and fake danger. It only knows how to protect you from discomfort. The closer we get to change, the more the brain amplifies the fear. At this point, your brain will come up with thousands of seemingly plausible reasons for you to give up. It says you're not ready, not good enough, and it's better to wait longer. Procrastination doesn't stem from laziness, but from fear, cleverly disguised. Your brain wants you to choose comfort, because comfort means surviving the past. But it is precisely this uncomfortable moment that is a rare sign that you are evolving. If you can overcome the screaming of your brain, you will enter a different version of yourself. After the initial panic, the brain stopped screaming. It began whispering, uttering perfectly logical words. It says you should slow down, because changing too quickly can cause everything to fall apart. The brain calls procrastination a strategy because it helps you avoid feeling like a failure right now. But each time you procrastinate, your brain reinforces the belief that you need protection. Safety is no longer a refuge. It's gradually becoming an invisible cage that keeps you standing still. For the first time, you feel uncomfortable, not because you're afraid, but because you're awakening. The brain begins to learn that discomfort doesn't kill you. It just requires patience. Only when your brain stops screaming will you hear your true voice. Change is no longer a battle, but has become a process that repeats itself every day. From this moment on, the brain is no longer leading. It begins to follow your behavior. Wealth doesn't begin with inspiration. It begins with repeated actions performed in silence. No one applauds when you choose discipline, but your brain begins to learn a new definition of safety. Every correct action is a small signal sent to the brain that you are in control of the game. The brain doesn't need to understand the future. It just needs to see you survive repeated discomfort. When a behavior is repeated long enough, the brain stops resisting and begins to cooperate. Wealth doesn't come from one big decision, but from hundreds of small, right choices. At this stage, emotions no longer guide behavior. Actions become ingrained habits. The brain now understands that true safety comes from the ability to endure, not to avoid. What you accumulate is not just money, but belief in your own actions. And when the behavior is strong enough, the result is only a matter of time. Most people don't fail because they lack money, but because they give up too soon with the right behavior. Wealth is not rewarded to the smartest, but to those who endure the longest. The gap between the poor and the rich is rarely about money, but about the amount of time one can endure discomfort. Every time you choose the difficult path, your brain is being rewritten little by little. You are not poor because you lack opportunities. You are poor because you have listened to the wrong voice guiding you. Starting today, choose the behaviors your brain hates, but your future requires. No one sees your daily efforts, but the results are always clearly remembered. If this video makes you uncomfortable, you're probably on the right track. Thank you for taking the time to read this far. Your attention is a valuable asset. If you want to continue practicing this mindset, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story.